At the beginning of the story, we see 5 friends traveling to Mexico for a band show. They were carrying a large amount of marijuana in their van, planning to sell it once they arrived in Mexico. Among them was the main character, Erin, who was having a great time with her friends. As they drove through the deserted roads of Texas, they sang songs and enjoyed the journey together. Suddenly, a young woman appears in front of their vehicle. The driver barely manages to avoid hitting her and quickly brings the van to a stop. Erin steps out and asks if she's okay, but the girl doesn't respond. Instead, she simply starts walking away as if nothing had happened. Realizing that something is seriously wrong, Erin and one of her friends follow her. As they approach, they notice the girl talking to herself. She repeatedly says that this place is extremely dangerous and that she needs to go home. Ignoring her strange behavior, Erin convinces the girl to get into their van. Soon, the group drives past a meat processing company, and the moment the girl sees it, she begins to cry. Terrified, she warns them that they're heading in the wrong direction. Without warning, she attacks the driver and forces him to stop the vehicle. Through tears, she says that a terrible man is responsible for everything. According to her, he has already killed many people, and he won't spare them either. She desperately warns that every one of them is going to die. Then, in a horrifying moment, she puts a gun in her mouth and shoots herself. The friends are left completely shocked and terrified. They immediately rush out of the van, unable to process what had just happened. Now they face a serious problem. What should they do with the dead body? Calling the police isn't an easy option because they're carrying a huge stash of marijuana. If the authorities discover the drugs, all of them could end up in jail. After a long discussion, they finally decide that reporting the incident to the police is the only choice. Before leaving, a boy named Kemper hides all the marijuana in a secret location. The group then places the girl's body in the van and starts heading toward the nearest police station. However, they have no idea that deciding to take the girl's body to the police is about to become their biggest mistake of their lives.
After driving for some time without finding a police station, the group stops at a small food store. They go inside and explain the entire situation to the store owner. After listening to their story, the woman makes a call to the local police station and manages to speak with an officer. When she hangs up, she tells them that they need to take the dead body to a nearby factory where a police officer will meet them. The group finds this very strange. Why isn't the police officer coming here himself? However, they have no better option, so they get back into their van and follow a forest road leading to the old factory. When they finally arrive, they're surprised to find that no police officer is there. What's even stranger is that the factory appears completely abandoned. Nobody knows what to do next. That's when Morgan suggests that they should simply leave the dead body there and drive away without informing the police. To everyone's surprise, the idea seems reasonable, but Erin immediately refuses. She argues that the girl must have a family somewhere, and they are probably worried and waiting for her. Leaving the body behind would be wrong. Because of Erin's insistence, the group decides to stay and wait for the officer. While waiting, they suddenly notice someone running inside the factory. Curious, they go in to investigate and discover a young boy hiding there. The boy tells them that no police officer is coming to the factory. According to him, the officer is currently at his house. After getting the officer's address from the boy, Erin and Kemper decide to go there themselves. Meanwhile, the other 3 friends stay behind near the abandoned factory and wait for their return. After walking for a while, Erin and Kemper finally find the house, but when they peek through the doorway, they don't see anyone inside. The place looks completely empty, making them realize that nobody actually lives there. Just as Erin and Kemper are about to leave, an elderly man in a wheelchair suddenly comes outside. Both of his legs are amputated, and he tells them that this is not the police officer's house. However, he claims that he can help them by calling the officer. The old man adds that only one of them can come inside to make the call. The situation feels a little suspicious, but Erin and Kemper convince themselves that the disabled old man couldn't possibly be a threat. As a result, Kemper stays outside while Erin enters the house. Inside, Erin uses the phone and explains everything to the police officer. After hearing her story, the officer tells her not to worry and assures her that he will arrive within 30 minutes. With that, he ends the call.
As Erin is about to leave, the old man asks for her help. She discovers that he has fallen in the bathroom and needs assistance getting back into his wheelchair. Wanting to help, Erin stays behind and assists him. In reality, the old man is simply wasting her time. While Erin is helping him, we briefly see a shadowy figure walking behind her. This reveals something disturbing. The old man is not living alone. Someone else is inside the house. Meanwhile, outside, Kemper continues waiting. As more and more time passes, he begins to worry. Aaron has been inside for far too long, and he starts wondering whether something has happened to her. Concerned, he decides to enter the house and look for her himself. As Kemper searches the rooms, he opens one of the doors and steps inside. Suddenly, a massive man appears behind him and swings a heavy hammer directly into his head. The brutal blow kills Kemper instantly. Without hesitation, the giant man drags Kemper's lifeless body across the floor and takes it into another room. A short time later, Aaron finally comes outside, but the moment she looks around, she realizes that Kemper is gone. Aaron assumes that Kemper must have gone back to the abandoned factory to meet up with the others. Believing that's the most likely explanation, she heads back there as well. However, when she arrives, she discovers that Kemper isn't there either. Now genuinely worried, Aaron tells the others that Kemper has disappeared. The group immediately begins searching for him and eventually reaches a location filled with dozens of abandoned vehicles. Even after searching the area, they find no sign of their missing friend. At this point, they become convinced that Kemper must still be somewhere near the old house, so the entire group returns there once again. When they arrive, Aaron sees the old man still sitting outside the house. She decides to distract him with conversation while her friend Andy quietly slips inside to search for Kemper.
Andy carefully explores the house, looking through room after room, but Kemper is nowhere to be found. Then he enters the kitchen and freezes in horror. Hanging all around him are pieces of human skin and disturbing remains. The sight terrifies him. While investigating further, Andy accidentally knocks a box onto the floor. The loud crash echoes through the house. Hearing the noise, Aaron immediately rushes inside. The old man follows close behind her. The moment he sees Andy inside the house, he becomes furious. He instantly realizes that Aaron deliberately distracted him so her friend could sneak in and search the property. Slamming his cane against the floor, the old man angrily shouts, "Come on, boy, bring it!" Seconds later, Leatherface appears carrying a chainsaw. The sight of him sends Aaron and Andy into a panic, and both of them run for their lives. Aaron somehow manages to escape from the house, but Andy isn't as lucky. Leatherface catches him and brutally cuts off one of his legs. Screaming in agony, he's overpowered and dragged into the basement. There, Leatherface hangs him from a large meat hook. To make his suffering even worse, he pours salt directly onto the open wound before wrapping it up, ensuring that Andy remains alive and experiences every moment of pain. Meanwhile, Leatherface removes the skin from Kemper's face and turns it into a grotesque mask for himself. After finishing his gruesome work, he takes off his old mask and replaces it with the one made from Kemper's face. For the first time, we finally get a glimpse of Leatherface's real face, and it's absolutely terrifying. Meanwhile, Aaron returns to the old factory and tries to start the group's van. Unfortunately, the vehicle refuses to start. Just then, the police officer she had spoken to earlier finally arrives. Relieved to see him, everyone feels a sense of hope. They quickly explain everything, telling him about the dangerous man who has been murdering people in the area. However, the officer doesn't seem convinced. He tells them that he has been working in the region for years and has never seen anyone matching that description. Suddenly, his attention shifts to the drugs inside their van. The moment he notices them, his attitude completely changes. Furious, he drags the three friends out of the vehicle and forces them onto the ground. To intimidate them, he fires a gun dangerously close to their heads and accuses them of murdering the girl while under the influence of drugs. The group desperately insists that they're telling the truth, but the officer refuses to believe them. Then he takes Morgan into his patrol car and begins questioning him privately. The officer tells Morgan that if the girl really committed suicide, he should be able to demonstrate exactly how she did it. He hands Morgan a gun and orders him to place it in his mouth. Terrified, Morgan reluctantly obeys. Then the officer coldly tells him to pull the trigger. Panic immediately takes over. Believing his life is in danger, Morgan points the gun at the officer and tries to shoot him first, but nothing happens. The weapon is empty. The officer had already removed all the bullets beforehand. Now enraged, the officer claims that Morgan has just attempted to kill a police officer. Using that as an excuse, he arrests Morgan and drives away, supposedly taking him to the police station. But after traveling for a while, the truth becomes clear. Instead of heading to the station, the officer drives directly to Leatherface's house. At that moment, it becomes obvious that the officer is working with Leatherface and his family. Back at the factory, Aaron finally manages to get the van running, but the moment she starts driving, the wheels suddenly come loose and fall off. Someone had removed the lug nuts beforehand to make sure they couldn't escape.
Before Erin and her friend can even process what is happening, Leatherface suddenly appears with his roaring chainsaw. Without hesitation, he launches a brutal attack on their vehicle, turning their desperate escape into another nightmare. As Leatherface attacks the van, Erin's friend jumps out and runs for her life. Desperate to survive, she sprints through the darkness while Leatherface chases her with his chainsaw. She does everything she can to escape, but it's no use. Within moments, Leatherface catches up to her and brutally kills her with the chainsaw. From inside the van, Erin watches the horrifying scene unfold right before her eyes. But what shocks her even more is the realization that Leatherface is wearing Kemper's face as a mask. Terrified beyond belief, Erin immediately runs into the forest. Leatherface notices her escape and begins chasing her through the woods. After running for what feels like forever, Erin stumbles upon a camper van and rushes inside. There, she finds two women. Panicked, she tells them everything about Leatherface and warns them that he's a dangerous killer who will murder anyone in his path. Surprisingly, instead of being frightened, the women start laughing. The younger woman calmly tells Erin that Leatherface is actually a good person and would never hurt anyone. Something about their behavior feels incredibly strange. They seem completely disconnected from reality, almost as if they don't understand how normal people interact with each other. The younger woman then offers Erin a cup of tea. Exhausted and desperate, Erin drinks it without thinking twice. A few moments later, Erin asks if she can use a phone to call for help. However, the young woman claims that they don't have a phone. Soon afterward, the woman walks away to calm a crying baby. While waiting, Erin notices a family photograph hanging nearby. In the picture is the same young woman who had stepped in front of their vehicle earlier, the woman who later killed herself. But something is terribly wrong. The baby in the photograph is the exact same child now being cared for by the younger woman inside the camper. At that moment, Erin realized that something sinister is going on. Then she suddenly hears a telephone ringing. Following the sound, Erin enters another room and discovers the younger woman speaking on a phone. Just minutes earlier, she had claimed that there wasn't any phone in the camper. Now Erin knows she's been lied to. Furious, she confronts the woman and accuses her of kidnapping the child. She shouts that the baby doesn't belong to her and that she stole him from his real mother. Before Erin can do anything else, her vision begins to blur. The room starts spinning. Seconds later, she collapses to the floor, unconscious. The tea she drank had been drugged. When Erin finally wakes up, she finds herself tied up with ropes. Surrounding her is the entire family responsible for the nightmare she's been living through. For the first time, we see them all together. There's Leatherface himself, his crippled brother, his wife, and a young boy named Jed. The family has raised Jed as their own child, but the truth is far darker. They kidnapped him from another family and kept him for themselves. Now, Erin is completely trapped, surrounded by a family of twisted killers with no obvious way to escape.
One of Leatherface's family members begins explaining their side of the story to Erin. She tells her that her son, Thomas, better known as Leatherface, suffered from a severe skin disease that left his face horribly disfigured. Because of his appearance, people constantly mocked and humiliated him throughout his life. According to her, that cruelty is what eventually turned him into a killer. She goes on to say that the family now lives in isolation, far away from society. A short time later, Leatherface arrives and carries Erin down into the basement, locking her inside. The basement is a horrifying sight. Human body parts are scattered everywhere, making it look more like a slaughterhouse than a home. As Erin looks around, she notices Andy hanging from a meat hook. Shockingly, he's still alive. Desperate to save him, Erin tries to pull him off the hook. Unfortunately, she accidentally pushes the hook even deeper into his body, causing him unbearable pain. Realizing that he has no chance of survival, Andy begs her to end his suffering. At first, Erin refuses, but after seeing the agony he's enduring, she finally makes the heartbreaking decision. Picking up a knife, she stabs him in the stomach, giving him a quick death and freeing him from his torment. Moving deeper into the basement, Erin discovers Morgan lying inside a bathtub, badly injured and barely conscious. Behind him is a large hole in the wall, suggesting that he had also been suspended and tortured. Despite his condition, Erin manages to pull Morgan out of the tub. Just then, the young boy they had met at the factory suddenly appears. Unlike the rest of the family, the child isn't trying to hurt them. In fact, he wants to help them escape. The boy leads Erin and Morgan toward a hidden passageway. With his guidance, they begin making their way out of the basement through a secret route. But before they can escape, Leatherface spots them.
The moment he sees them, he grabs his chainsaw and charges after them. Morgan barely manages to climb out of the basement. Erin is right behind him, but just as she's about to escape, Leatherface grabs her leg and starts dragging her back down. For a moment, it seems like she's doomed. Then, the young boy suddenly bites Leatherface's hand. The unexpected attack forces Leatherface to let go, giving Erin the chance she needs. She quickly pulls herself free and climbs out of the basement. Now outside, Erin and Morgan run to a nearby abandoned house and hide inside. Unfortunately, Leatherface refuses to give up the chase and soon follows them into the building. Thinking quickly, Erin hides Morgan inside a closet before slipping into another room to conceal herself. She sits completely still, trying not to make a sound as Leatherface searches the house. But the situation only becomes worse. The room where Erin is hiding is infested with rats. One by one, they begin crawling over her and slipping inside her clothes. Despite her fear and disgust, Erin desperately covers her mouth and holds her breath, trying to stay completely silent. The rats crawling around her are making plenty of noise, and the sounds eventually catch Leatherface's attention. Hearing the movement, he slowly begins walking toward her hiding spot. For a few tense moments, Erin waits in terror. Then, suddenly, the sound of Leatherface's footsteps disappears. It seems as if he has gone somewhere else. Relieved, Erin believes that she might have survived, but the feeling doesn't last long. Without warning, Leatherface attacks from behind. He grabs Erin, drags her out of hiding, and throws her violently onto the floor. Raising his chainsaw, he prepares to kill her. Just before he can strike, Morgan suddenly attacks Leatherface, creating a distraction and giving Erin a chance to escape.
She immediately runs. Unfortunately, Morgan isn't as lucky. Leatherface catches him, hangs him from a large hook, and brutally cuts him in half with a chainsaw. Witnessing the horrifying scene leaves Erin completely terrified, but she keeps running for her life. Leatherface chases after her once again. During the pursuit, Erin manages to climb through a barbed wire fence. As Leatherface tries to follow, his leg becomes tangled in the wire. He loses his balance and falls, accidentally driving his own chainsaw into his leg. Meanwhile, Erin reaches a nearby road and desperately waves down an approaching car for help. The driver sees her but refuses to stop. Knowing the terrifying reputation of the area, he simply drives away, leaving Erin stranded. With no other choice, she continues running and eventually arrives at a meat processing plant. She rushes inside and hides among the massive slabs of hanging meat. A short time later, Leatherface enters the building and begins searching for her. Listening carefully, he hears Erin's frightened sobs echoing through the room. Following the sound, he swings his chainsaw directly into one of the giant pieces of meat where Erin is hiding. At that moment, Erin realizes something important. Leatherface will never stop hunting her. Instead of continuing to run, she decides to fight back. She grabs a large meat cleaver and hides behind a nearby cabinet, waiting for the perfect opportunity. As soon as Leatherface comes within reach, Erin jumps out and attacks. She strikes him repeatedly with the cleaver, landing several powerful blows. One of the attacks is so devastating that it severs one of his arms. Taking advantage of the moment, Erin escapes from the building and runs back onto the road. There, she finally manages to stop a passing truck. Seeing her terrified condition and realizing that she desperately needs help, the truck driver allows her to climb inside. For the first time in what feels like forever, Erin may finally have a chance to escape the nightmare alive. After driving for some distance, Erin notices that the truck driver is heading back toward the gas station, the very place connected to Leatherface's family. Having barely escaped with her life, Erin has no intention of returning there. She tells the driver that he's going the wrong way, but he ignores her and keeps driving. At this moment, Erin finds herself in the exact same situation as the young woman from the beginning of the movie. The difference is that Erin still has the strength and determination to fight back. She tries to stop the truck, but it's already too late. The driver pulls into the gas station. As he gets out to speak with the station owner, Erin quietly climbs out of the truck and sneaks around to the back of the family's house. Looking through a window, she spots the young woman caring for the baby, the same baby who belonged to the girl that died at the beginning of the story. A moment later, the truck driver calls everyone over to him. As the family gathers to hear what he has to say, Erin sees her opportunity. She quickly slips inside the house, grabs the child, and escapes.
It is now revealed that the truck driver has been working with Leatherface's family all along. That's why he never stopped to help Erin. In fact, he intentionally brought her back to them. The driver informs the family that Erin has returned, causing them to immediately begin searching for her. When the young woman goes back into the room, she discovers that the child is gone. Erin has already taken the baby and fled.
Following the truck driver's warning, the corrupt police officer, who is also part of the family, begins searching the truck, but Aaron is nowhere to be found. What he doesn't realize is that she is hiding inside his own patrol car. Before the officer can figure out what's happening, Aaron starts the vehicle and slams directly into him, knocking him to the ground. Then, instead of driving away, she puts the car in reverse and runs him over a second time. Finally, she drives over him once more, making sure he can never hurt anyone again. With the corrupt officer dead, Aaron attempts to escape, but one final obstacle remains. Suddenly, Leatherface appears in the middle of the road and attacks her with his chainsaw. However, after losing an arm, he is no longer the unstoppable monster he once was. Despite his rage, he cannot stop Aaron from escaping. At last, Aaron drives away from the nightmare, and she doesn't leave alone. She also rescues the kidnapped child, ensuring that the baby is finally safe.